All right, my MVP family, good morning, good morning, good morning. This is your girl, Miss Bev, with yet another video. But today, guys, we're just going to chat. But before we start, please remember to subscribe to the channel and remember to like the video. And please contribute to the conversation. Today, we are going to talk about, let me tell you what we're going to talk about. The strategies that ICE is using for deportation. I did a video before and talked to you guys. If you're in America, I'm talking about America. We know soon Canada going to do them thing because they're going to follow what the president is doing currently. And we know England is going to follow suit because these are where most people run off. You know, they get a visa and they just decide this better than yards, so may stay right so. So that's what I'm going to talk about today, because I remember in the 90s when Clinton was in, I remembered that one of his things that he had was if any employer who was caught using illegals, using illegals, they would have been fined $10,000. Any family member who was hiding illegal people, if they were caught, they were going to be charged $10,000. And there were different reasons. So I remembered back then that people were, when you apply for work, you sometimes, if you had the Social Security, they didn't ask for green cards and stuff like that. Then all of a sudden, everybody had to bring in proof that they were legal to work in the country. Everybody. So you might be working for the company 5, 6, 7 years, but you didn't have anything on file. You had to bring in a copy of your legal papers. I think it was during that time they created the forms which made sure they ask you, are you legal to work in the country? So today we're just going to talk a little bit about that, because I said to you guys before the president took office, I said to you, do not sit around and let them pick you up and send you home. If they do that, you're not going to be able to have access. You're not going to be able to tell them, oh, let me go home and finalize my business. However they catch you that's how they're sending you home. I said, so don't go through the embarrassment and let them, throw you out, deport you. If you leave the country willingly, you will have a chance to return. It only means that you might have to stay maybe 2 or 3 years out of the country before you reapply, but give yourselves that fighting chance. Don't let them pick you up and throw you out as a common criminal, because that's exactly what we are when we break their laws, and we know that we're breaking their laws, and we're standing there barefaced and talking about what rights you have. You don't have rights as immigrants, guys. You're in people's country, you're illegal. So that's what the situation has been. You're willing to take a job that costs $5 when the minimum wage is $15. So yes, they're going to be happy to hire you because it saves them a lot. When I worked as home care, when I went to America in '83, home care was my savior. That's what I did, home health care, until I went to college and became a teacher. So a lot of people, I remember when we used to argue about the agencies, when the agencies started. When we started, there wasn't a lot of agencies. You're working for the city, and they would put you in these jobs, and it was good then, because right away we had a union. And like when I had my twin daughters, I remembered like I was home for a while because I had a C-section. So I got my I got all sorts of good benefits. But it's like when you worked, every 27 hours you worked, you accumulated, I think, an hour in vacation time or something like that. But who even understood that? You just want to work and have a check coming in. And so while I was home with the children, I think into the 6th month, one day I got an envelope from the agency, and always come with your time slips packed in it. And when I open it, man, a big old check for like $2,700. You're talking about 80 something, 85, 86. That was a big check. And when I looked on it, it was for my accumulated time that they had there. So at the time, we used to be mad with when the agency started. Now people start coming in. That's when the illegals were getting jobs, because nobody asking for papers. You bring in somebody, you recommend them, they just take it for that, because they needed people now, so they could assign people to people who are coming home who are old, and they said, yeah, they need to get support, companions or whatever. And we go in and we get them up, bathe them, fix their breakfast, keep the company, clean up a little bit. It wasn't much cleaning, clean up a little and just sit there with them. Lunchtime, you give them their lunch, help them with the bathroom if they needed it. In those days, a lot of them didn't need it. They were more companion aid. But then as times go on, they start taking more severe people and put them in the program, and more agencies now start opening up and getting a big chunk of whatever Medicaid was paying, or Medicare. So you'd find out the agency they'd pay the agents like $35 an hour. But the agents, they're talking about their overhead cost. So they were happy to give us the measly nothing. $3.35. I remember when I went to America, I started working $3.35 till it went to $4, until when you got a job for $5, you were in hog's heaven. and so it was. And so back then it was just easy peasy. People were just cruising along and wasn't being bothered a lot. But then Reagan came in and he started. I think he gave I think it was Reagan. Reagan was after Jimmy Carter. And so he gave amnesty. So even my cousin, I remembered when they applied and people were running in, and they were getting the amnesty. Weren't afraid of anything. They just went in and got it, and they would send them. Once they approved them, they got the green card, and they said, now go pay your taxes. So that was that. And then after Carter, it was Clinton. And Clinton says $10,000 fine if you are found harboring an illegal person. And so people became afraid. They didn't want to hire them now because they didn't want to lose out. Jobs were making sure that, when they come in and get audited, that everybody had a working paper attached to their name. And so as it comes on, that every president comes in with their own way of doing things. And when this president was president before, he made it clear. He made it clear that he didn't want certain people in the country because there were a strain on the infrastructure. It was a strain on the economy. Housing, healthcare. There were big strain. And so he spoke before. And he lost the election and everybody felt comfortable again. And now he won again. And the fight he has, he bought the clothes, this done. He's carrying out what his plan has been. He says, I'm not joking. One country, I forgot this one, I was reading it, where they had to succumb to the pressures, because a lot of countries get a lot of support from America. And so it's clear for him when he says, no more support for you if you don't take these people we're sending back to you, sending there. So again, he spoke out. Again, he said the people he wants to come, people from Norway, people from Switzerland, those people, blue-eyed people. People said, why would we leave our stable environment to come to America with the chaos? So they're not coming. So who is going? Who is going is our Caribbean people, a lot of our Caribbean people, a lot of our Mexico people, a lot of our Brazilian people, a lot of our people who are struggling, whose economy is so bad that they need to go. But a lot of us go and we get jobs, right? We get the opportunity to get jobs because, especially in the healthcare, you know, people need people, and it's cheaper for them to hire you than to go through the agencies. Because as I said, the agency is going to charge an arm and a leg. You're going to maybe get $10 an hour from that amount. So the agency might be charged 10,000. From that 10,000 for the week, they decide, and they're smart, and they say, okay, we're collecting 10,000. We have nothing to do more than to have the agency take out their taxes from their little pay, calculate their pay. I know we'll have a secretary, but the secretary is not assigned to just Miss Bev. The secretary is assigned to all the people employed in the agency. So when we get 10,000 from one client to service their person, and we now get Miss Bev to go in there and to do a 12-hour shift, and I'm paying Miss Bev $10, that's only $120 for the day. And then another person might come in and do the next 12 hours if it's a 24-hour shift, and that's another 120. That's 240 for the day. And if you multiply that for the week, we see how much at the end of that week, we see how much the agency keeps back more than half of that money, and they got the work done. So that's the catch with these things, you know. With these agencies, they come forth, put up their little names up there. I don't know why I'm sitting here struggling and poor, you know. Because, yes, you teach, and but now you see how lucrative this thing is. You open up a little place, slap your name up there. I'm certified as a nurse's aide. I have a degree. I can, 2 degrees actually, that could, one in behavioral science, I could do the counseling thing, and the other in math, in education, so a master's in education, so I could slap it up on somewhere and bring in some income. But that's how the thing goes, and so we are here, and today, and I spoke about that before, and today, again, I want to now talk about some of the strategies that they're using as it relates to the deportation. But before we even get into that, let me just remind us as we go along that, as I said, in this life, especially in this Jamaica, we have returned to Jamaica looking for a stressless environment, looking forward to the warm sunlight on our bodies and our faces to make us radiant and bright, to give us the vitamin D that we lack when we're in the Americas or in Canada's or in Great Britain. And yet there's so much to take a lot of things away. But this morning, let me remind us that if any little word of mine may make a dark life brighter, if any little song of mine may make a sad heart lighter, God help me speak the helping word and sweeten it with singing, and drop it in some lonely vale to set the echoes ringing. If any little love of mine may make a hard life sweeter, if any little care of mine may make a friend's thirst fleeter, God help me speak that helpful word and sweeten it with singing and drop it in some lonely vale to set the echoes ringing. Guys, remember, it's not about the words, it's not about the voice. This voice is, some days it's loving and nice, and some days, but just listen to the words, guys. If any little word of mine may make a dark life brighter. So today we're going to talk about some of the strategies that the ICE people will be using in America to find you guys and to embarrass you, to send you back home. I said before in the video where I spoke to us, if you're illegal in America, you should do this. I encourage you guys that if you're illegal in America, way before Donald Trump took office, that President Donald Trump, let's give him the respect that is due to him, that don't sit around and wait. Don't sit around for the last minute and then think that your friends who show their teeth when you're there are going to be the same kind of friend who will support you when you're not there. I'm not saying everybody's going to be the same, but I guarantee you that once you get deported, if you do get deported, that the same friends who were sitting with you and laughing with you and eating with you and all of that, you leave your things there and expect them to get them to you in Jamaica and to fix your bank account so you can get your money in Jamaica. Understand that this will change. This will change. It's going to become a problem for them. It's going to be easy to borrow that money and never be able to repay that money. And when you're here in Jamaica and can't do nothing, you're going to be left in a lurch. So again, I said to them, to you guys, fix what you need to fix. Ship what you need to ship. Make sure you have good relationships out here. Again, remember, if you left and it wasn't supporting and helping your families, then you can't look back now to come back and become sit down there. So you're going to have the killings and you're going to have all sorts of animosities and problems. Because a lot left and didn't look back. And then they come home now and they want to take over the family house and they want to take over this and take over that. So remember, guys, put things into place. Think far. Don't just think right here and then that's it. Then send me home, whatever. But think of how you're going to survive when you come home. Don't just talk about whatever. Think of how you're going to survive when you get home. Days are long, nights are longer. So think of these things and make sure that you're putting some things in place to support you while you're here in Jamaica. Remember, you cannot travel with more than X amount of money, so don't sit and try it because everything goes through an X-ray machine. An X-ray machine that can tell the shape of things, tell what is going on in stuff, and so you don't want to end up losing out. So make sure right now, remember with Western Union and all those remittance and things, listen to what the president is putting in place. Listen to what he's putting in place. Is the putting in place where, in order for you to send money, you're going to have to show your legal status. You're going to have to show a legal ID. So don't sit there not listening. Illiteracy is the worst thing. Being ignorant is not something that we should be in these days and age. A lot of us, we can't read and we can't manage the books well. And we go to America and we buy fancy clothes and we drive big car and we do these things. But we forget that we could hire a tutor to help us to master the art of grammar or language or what have you. Help us to be able to be better readers. Help us with our math so that we can do what we need to do. It's not about clothes and look good and then, just sit there dumb. It's about, even if you have the one suit and you're washing it and going with it, but you're getting the things you need to survive in life. So remember that. Things have changed, and in order to catch you, in order to get what you have garnered over the years, these are things that they're putting in place. Don't sit casually and think, oh, everything is all right. Remember, everything we do, Big Brother is watching us. Everything we do. You'll be shocked sometimes to see something comes up with you just walking down the street casually, just walking. And they're watching where you went, where you stopped, the phones you use. Oh, it pinged here and it pinged there. So they know, everything we do is being watched. We're buying smart TVs or homes and we think that, oh yeah man, we have a 65-inch on my wall. And we don't know that we're being watched through these smart things. A lot of us, we Siri, play Misty for me, Siri. Like, Siri is there listening. In order for Siri to know that you need her, Siri is there listening. So all these things that we're putting in our homes, and we have our computers, we have the laptop sitting there with the red button looking at you. The red button is looking at you from the camera. What do you think? So all of these things we have to understand. We live in a world that technology has taken over, and anything you do, there's a camera that captured you somewhere, somehow. There's a camera out there that captured you. And so it's just about, well, let's see the cameras in Mas John's store. Let's see the cameras out there in the parking lot. Let's look at the camera that is in Miss Chin's supermarket. Let's look at the camera that's on Miss Bev's house. Let's look at the cameras are everywhere. So when we think we're safe, this is a dangerous time, because they are watching, they are listening. Understand this, that when you sit there and you think like families, not everybody is on your side. Some people are upset with you. They will call you in. They will call in and report you. You have people who, they go to America and them not care who from and them take away. People will call you in. So let's be realistic, guys. Let us be humble. Let us pray to God and let Him lead and direct. Let us listen to even to the dull and the ignorant, because they too have a story. And sometimes we have to take sleep and mark death. Sometimes if we take the foolish advice and make it make sense. So we look at, I did go on and to find the strategies that are being used. Well, where's my thing? Where did it go? The strategies that are being used to No. I'm looking for my strategies. I had it here, but then I pull up my song. And it seems like I lost it. Right, so again, as I said, damn, I didn't even, where's my thing? All right. Right? So just understand that there are different strategies that they're going to be using. I already talked for 24 minutes. I didn't want this to be too long. So we know that ICE means the Immigration and Customs Enforcement people. And they use different strategies to find the people they need to remove. Remember, if you have a problem with the court system, if you're locked up, you're going to be you don't have a chance after. You're going to be sent home. Remember that President Trump is now saying, if your kid, a lot of people go to America and then breed and say, oh, the pitney will file for me. remember now he's cutting that out. Your child is born to a non-citizen person or whatever. If you're undocumented and you have a kid in America, it's no longer getting citizenship. So there are a lot of things that are put in place. So make sure you know them and don't sit there putting yourself into all sorts of problems. A lot of us left Jamaica for long years and we have done nothing because we get up there and we get a job and a lot of us went up with our bad behaviors where we're beating up people. I had somebody who got married to a young lady and she was filing his papers. But then he felt like he need to go have another woman with the girl, and the girl, beat up the girl, all of that. And the girl left, move away. So he's married to her, she's trying to help him acting like a macho and him bad. And the girl left him, and he ended up doing the driving thing, got a license for trailer, and start hauling stuff. But his intention wasn't good. When I saw him and I spoke to him and I said, hey, listen, you come here, straighten up yourself. Gave him some funds to help him get the license for the trailer head. And thinking, was happy when they said, yeah, they got the trailer head and he's going to be hauling stuff. Yeah, hauling stuff, but part of the hauling was peddling, transporting marijuana, pounds and pounds. So they caught him in one of the states, like a way out state, and he was locked up. And he was locked up and they bailed him out and he jumped bail and went to another state. He went to Georgia, I think it was, and was there in Georgia until they found him, locked him up again, and deported him. And it was bad because you have a trailer. You could have made good money hauling things. Just keep your nose clean. Just don't get caught up into stuff. Just go draw the darn things, hitch up your head, the trailer head on something and pull. And make your good monies. But no, they need to stay dirty. And so, and the Charles Ford Lother, what is she growing? Every time I sit to do a video, here comes her notification across the screen. Blessings, Miss Marver, are down there in Fort Lauderdale, planting up and reaping your beautiful stuff. So he got locked up again, and then when they deported him, it was shameful, because he did come home in an orange suit, and then when he came, it's like people had to go and claim him, and it wasn't a pleasant thing, because they left and they lived a big life, and they never sent back a penny to help anybody. So when the sister had to go claim him, she wasn't happy, and he stayed in her house for a little bit, and then she told him, you need to get out. And not going to take her money to feed him and what have you. And so luckily for him, he met some older woman and they got involved, and I think he's still with that person. So again, I'm just saying that some of the methods they're going to be using are these methods: detention and removal. So ICE can arrest you who are found to be in violation of the immigration laws. All right? They will detain you in centers and then remove you from the U.S. And again, this means you're unlawful in the country. You might come in and then get 2 months, you take years. Means you don't have no paper for sure, so you're not sometimes you come in illegally, you don't have no papers to show how you're getting. That's the worst thing, when you don't have any port of entry into America. And so for their raids, they conduct workplace raids or raids in communities to locate and arrest individuals without legal status. Remember again, I said, people, if you have issues with people and them know so you don't have legal status, be careful, because you know say one little slip and them themselves will call you in. So be on good terms with everybody. Shut your mouth, do what you do, shut your mouth, and be good to people. So he says the raids target employers hiring unauthorized workers or areas with a high concentration of undocumented immigrants. New York, I think Connecticut too, because they are one of the safe haven places for so prioritizing criminal aliens. ICE often focuses on deporting individuals who have committed crimes, such as those convicted of felonies or misdemeanors, as they are seen as higher priority for removal. A lot of us, we get the opportunity to be on American soil. We don't want to work. We don't get up and work. We just want to stay in the same bad ways that we had here in Jamaica. Why? When you know that it's harder for you to eat bread. It's not every day you're going to get to go out there and rob somebody or do whatever. But if you're in the country, get a decent job, man, and go. Get a decent job. Do the right thing. And now when you get sent back home, you have not left America to look forward to anybody send down for you. And I remember when that person was deported and have the nerve calling. Boy, may I beg. No, you had the opportunity. I say it's so unfair that you're sitting there. You had the opportunity in America and you throw it away and now you're calling. No. So you have to cut off them kind of cousins thing and them friend thing when these things, they get the opportunity and will never work. They can never pick up anything and do an honest day's job. So, if you're a criminal, they're going to focus on you. But think of Jamaica now. I did a video also asking the government, giving them ideas. I know they're not going to see my videos, but what they can put in place, because if we're already so full of crime and people are getting killed left, right, and center, then what's going to happen when the criminals come back? What's going to happen when they come back? More gangs formed, more deaths, more. What's going to happen? They're going to come back with nothing. And who is going to employ them quickly? The criminals. Because the government has nothing in place for them when they come. Heaven help us all. So family or employer cooperation. ICE will collaborate with employers or family members of individuals in the USA unlawfully to locate and deport them. They sometimes use tip lines to cooperate with local law enforcement. So understand this. When you went through and when you were happily going through because you got your visa and you get your ticket and you're going through and they have all your information, who you're going to, where you're staying. So they have all of that on file already. So when you get in here, you get into America and you're supposed to be coming to Miss Bev. And Miss Bev live at this place in Bronx, New York. When they start the search, they have that on file. So unless I move and go somewhere else, and if I'm a working person, if I own that house, that's going to be my address. So they're going to come there to knock that door and to ask for you. So just let us not sit down and be complacent, guys. Let us understand that this is serious. It's going to get your families involved. It's going to get friends involved. And some people don't want to deal with federal government. They don't want to deal with these people. And so they will turn you in quickly. Especially if you have no manners, you cuss them out and no and behave yourself. They will quickly give you up. So, in the process, so the quick removal thing is that there's a quick removal, and the process is that ICE will deport individuals quickly without a formal hearing in front of a judge if they are caught within 100 miles of the United States border and have been in the country for less than 2 years. Deportation orders in cases. There are cases where persons has an outstanding deportation order from an immigration court. ICE can carry out the deportation. This can happen even if the person is already living in the U.S. for some time. So if there's a deportation order remember that ICE can come find you and just put you out of them country. Use of technology data, again, a lot of people on these platforms and they're doing them thing. Remember this. Everything we do, whether it's technology, whether it's, we are being watched. Our IP addresses on the things that we use, some of us put on the location on our phones and stuff like that. Those are ways to find people. If you're connecting with family, they can listening to calls made. There's so much. So just be on, as I said, if you're there, you're legal, pack up your something, them, start fixing it. Because when them catch you, you're not going to have time. Them not going to say, oh, come in tomorrow. It's going to be right on the spot that they pick you up, whether on the street, whether in church, whether in the school, whether on your job, wherever them pick you up, them gonna bangle you and take you straight to the deportation place and then get you out on the next flight to wherever they might deport you to. Sad thing is that a lot of people are gonna get deported to places that they're not even, like some people who have never even, they were born and the parents went up and run off and them begged somebody bring up the kid for them. Remember them days when them used to send birth certificate down, send the citizen picnic down for vacation, and then bring up one next picnic on the birth certificate? Right? Or when them used to steam out pictures out of passport and put somebody's picture in it. I know you're in the country all these years and you don't have no paperwork. Because you just feel good, so me reach and me alright. Now, technology is a big thing because they're going to be looking at various databases. They're going to be looking at surveillance technologies. They're going to look at information sharing with other agencies to track down individuals subject to deportation, such as the Secure Communities Program, which Connecticut is one of them, a secure community, has secure communities there. And these programs share fingerprints. When you go in these programs, they have to, there are things that you're subjected to, and these are things that will be shared. If you have been arrested, your fingerprints are going to be available. And then you have the voluntary departure. In some cases, they may offer you the option to voluntarily depart the country instead of facing a formal deportation. This allows individuals to avoid the deportation record, and which could affect future entry. So again, I say to you, leave voluntarily so you have a chance to go back. Don't sit there and let these things go on your record. So, again, the strategies employed by ICE, it varies, maybe depending on where you are. But, again, just understand that this president is really intent on getting rid of the illegal immigrants from his country. Not his country, but the people have spoken, and that's what they want him to do, and that's what he is carrying out, is the orders of the people who support him. So my people, listen, we all live for better. As I always said, when I left Jamaica, I was 23 years old. I would not have had the opportunities that I was allowed to have if my mom had not taken the chance and given us that opportunity. 5 children, 1 was born there, the other 4 of us were born here, and she made sure we all got the opportunity to come. When I went, my focus was education. I when I passed my scholarship and Granny couldn't afford me to go to Santa Cruz Technical High School way back then. She couldn't even afford shoes on my little feet to run to the hills and the stones and the everything, the hot tar. Remember, Fridays were hot. Used to go home half day on Fridays, and when you're walking home in that, the sun is right up there, and the tar was so hot it would have like a bubbles on top of it, and you have to plop, 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 plop. Sometimes you walk in the bushes in the bank, in the banking we call it, so that your feet can stay cool, and so people. That's why I said, people shouldn't be envious of people, because you don't know what they have gone through to reach where they reached today. I remember so well. I'm looking at me coming home, just on the hot tar. Me and the hot tar, stepping off into some grass if there's an opening or something that you could just step off on something to cool your foot, the bottom of your foot. And that's the reality of it. But you keep going every day. You keep going. And so when I passed my scholarship and Granny couldn't afford it, she said, my Pitney, $600 in those days. $600 should have to come up with in the very early 70s. 1972. $600 for room and board. But Granny forget it. Granny said, even if I still have all the goat, I'm not going to come to that. Because them time you buy a goat like $27. So I couldn't go. So I didn't get a formal high school education. But when I went, my primary education was strong enough. I was a bright girl, and that gave me the opportunity to continue building. So I am thankful I didn't have to walk as and look behind me, because my mom gave us that, and I thanked her often for that opportunity. But a lot come up and you don't use your opportunities well. You're all into the cloth and the boot and the name brand and the lace wig, and you take every penny you have instead of using to build. You use it to buy foolish things. You have 1 or 2 wigs, you're not satisfied. You want 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 wig. Those are the things that stirs your mind. You don't look for long lasting. You just look for this what you call it, gratitude. You just want that thing. You want it, you want it now. And you don't care about whatever else. And so then the day come when they said, and you look back now and you didn't build anything. I'd say to people, you get the chance to come to America, you decide, so all right, you don't want to live in America, that's fine. But if you come in and you get a job, buy your little house, work, run off. Like, take the time. I'm not telling you to run off. I'm just saying, if you get a job, work and build up. Work and sacrifice and knot up where you feel knot up. And so when you come home, you're all set. You have your own little space. You can walk and pass gas in there when you want to. If you look back to see who hear you or who you have to say sorry to. You have your own little space. Because opportunity, my grandmother used to say, him have one platter here in him head and the right at the front. So when you get it, when him come, grab it. Because when him pass, all of this runners are balling. And so there's nothing one else to grab. So when you get that one opportunity, grab it, man. I'm proud of all of those people who came up, got opportunities, take it, set a goal. Say, boy, I'll go back for now, me get a job. And me have to go make sure this happen, make sure that happen, make sure the kids them have something that me can send them through high school. Me have a little that, Now me can say goodbye, Uncle Sam. If you're not take back in your country, me all set. A lot of people come and go, get good opportunities, place to stay, everything is there. And they choose to come back to Jamaica with no money. And they come back to the same hard life. Same thing you left from. It's the same thing you return to. So I'm just saying to us, guys, these are some of the things, the strategies that they're using, and you just have to be mindful of these things. Shut your mouth. Don't run your mouth too much. Don't get into conflicts with people because they will turn you in. You know, just be humble. Set your goals, do what you have to do, and get out if you need to get out. You know. And we know, say, heaven help us here, whom will have to deal with those returning and have nothing coming back to. Those children who, those people who will be deported, and the kids might be, whatever young kids up there will be left there. And we hope that families will jump in and support. But remember, if you weren't nice to your family, know what are you going to do. So that's why you must speak sweet words just in case. Because when you're nice, people are going to be there for you. When you're humble, they're going to be there to lift you up. But when you're arrogant and you're into yourself and you think you're all that and you're better than everybody and nobody nothing said nothing to you and you can disrespect everybody and you can put everybody down, then the time comes and who you gonna call? So just think on these things, guys. I know I've been running the mouth, but just think on it, because today I was just worried. I said, you know, you see what's going on. They're knocking doors. They're doing these things. And it's just going to be a hot mess for those who are not prepared. If you can be good, be careful. But walk good, do good. Like the video, share the video. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And thanks to all of you who have subscribed recently. We had over 15. We made the 15,000, and then we're like 300 and something and counting. So thank you, everybody, for your support. Welcome, welcome to the MVP family, where I know, and I'm letting you know that you're always appreciated. Absolutely appreciated. Thanks to my old supporters. Thank you for everything you do, all the watching you're doing, and the contributions to the conversations. Miss Bev appreciates it all. So make it a great day, guys. And, you know, if you have people in this kind of situation, talk to them and help them to understand the seriousness of it. Don't sit back and say, oh, them can't do it, them can't do this, them can't do that. The president is a person who doesn't mince his words. What he says, he's going to do. And so we shouldn't take it for granted. It's better. What he says, something better than curing it. Right? So now sit down there and forfeit everything and or think that now gonna happen to you. Not me, not gonna catch me, not gonna this and that. And you don't know. And so just prevent. Prevention is better than curing. Prevent is better than cure. So prevent situations before you have to sit down there and try to cure it. Alright? So pick the sense out of the nonsense and be on the right track. And don't end up losing all because you're stubborn. But think, ask God for guidance, and do not lean onto your own understanding, and so that He will direct your path. Take care.